I'm proud to live in this great free country, and I'm proud of our commitment to free speech, and I'm proud of our country's commitment to protecting the rights of its citizens to work and live free from bigotry and violence. That's why I was amazed to discover that many people die each year in anti-gay attacks, and thousands more are left scarred emotionally and physically. Bigotry has no place in this great nation, and violence has no place in this world, but it happens. Prejudice hurts, kills. Please don't be a part of it.
Surprised by what you just saw and heard? What brought Bob Hope, the revered icon of American comedy, to make such a message? Our guests on this edition of Forward and Out will answer this question. I'm Eileen Karn. Join me in welcoming Chiqui Categena and Barry Katz, two representatives from GLAAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, a media watch organization. GLAAD not only works tirelessly to monitor the misrepresentations often seen about our community, but also produces various media messages to promote a positive and realistic view of lesbians and gay men. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Chiqui, tell me about the Bob Hope PSA. How did that come about?
Well, it happened in 1985 that Bob Hope was on The Tonight Show, and he actually mentioned the word fag. And GLAAD reacted to that, and we asked him to make a PSA for us, and he was very nice about it. In 1986, he actually recorded a PSA, which we've been using since then. People like him really make our messages come through a lot better.
Yeah. Barry, tell me about your involvement with GLAAD.
Well, I'm a member of the Speakers Bureau, which is one of the organizations that GLAAD has, and I'm a volunteer. And the Speakers Bureau goes around to various organizations, colleges, professional organizations, wherever we're asked to speak, to promote positive images about the gay and lesbian community. Right.
And there's been so many achievements that GLAAD has had in many areas.
That's true.
One is the Empire State Building.
That's true. Every year for the past 4 or 5 years, there's been the lavender lighting of the Empire State Building to celebrate gay pride.
Right.
And that's a great accomplishment, we think, for the gay community, and we're very proud of it.
What are some of the other achievements of GLAAD?
Well, there is a commemorative stamp of, commemorating the 20th anniversary of Stonewall.
Right.
There's also the 9X Yellow Pages now are including gay and lesbian organizations as part of the listings in their Yellow Pages.
Right. So those are some of the achievements that have...
Those are some of the more visible ones.
Right.
Every year we do lots of little things that, you know, help us become the media monitoring, you know, organization that we are today.
Right, yeah. And that's exactly sort of the mission of GLAAD.
It really is the mission of GLAAD. It's to promote fair, accurate, and inclusive representation of gays and lesbians in the media. And that's the primary objective of the media campaign.
Right. What are some of the other ways that the mission is implemented?
Well, there's public education, visibility through public education. There are organizations that we work with to promote positive images through public education. There is a monitoring campaign where we ask the gay and lesbian community to report on media
and to respond.
And to respond to it as
on media
well.
defamation.
Right.
Right.
So we have monitoring and response, and then we also have media education, which is really an important and crucial aspect of what we do, because when we train journalists about what homophobia is and how to address the gay community and some of our issues, then their reporting becomes better. And when their reporting becomes better, then the messages that they're portraying are better.
Right.
So that's a critical.
Right. And the monitoring is followed up, right? You have the phone tree, is that right? So that a word will go out if there's a bad message or something, and then all the phone tree members will call into a radio station or write letters. Is that right? Is that
we
how that
have
works?
Naming Names, and we also have Naming Names is a weekly segment that comes out actually in Manhattan Cable. Whereby we say every week we either condemn or commend someone for something they have done, and we ask people to write letters and to make phone calls.
Right. Chiqui, you're on the board of directors, is that right? Yeah, that's
correct.
been your involvement. It's quite a good contribution. What other sorts of projects have you undertaken in particular?
Well, this year, every year we do a media awards, which is our biggest fundraising event of the year, and it's sort of like the gay Oscars, if you will. And they've really attracted a lot of attention over the years. Phil Donahue has been a great supporter of our organization, as have Sally Jesse Raphael, and more, you know, print and broadcast journalists are supporting what we do through the media and for the media.
Right, that's a big fundraiser also, right?
Big
A huge
fundraiser.
dinner.
Huge dinner at the
people come
plaza,
forward.
750 people come, all in black tie. They're very cute. We have a silent auction, which is also one way of making money for us, besides that one night, which is a, you know, pricey dinner. But it's well worth it.
Right, so you have within your organization a board that reviews what's gone on through the year and then makes the awards.
Our monitoring response committee, you know, submits nominees, and then we also send out a submission form to all the media outlets around the country, basically. And although we've been monitoring, so we know who's done what kind of gay references. They do send us in. This year we had hundreds and hundreds of submissions, and from that we have to
wonderful.
pick, you know, who wins. And we give out 10 to 15 awards every year, both for print and broadcast media.
Among them is the Roseanne Arnold show, Roseanne running on ABC.
Yes, Roseanne has been very supportive of, you know, bringing to the light primetime television positive gay characters. In fact, we brought a clip
Today, yes. So
that
maybe we can run that now.
I think we should.
And it's the first time.
This is the first time Sandra Bernhard, who is a character on Roseanne, sort of comes out.
Character of Nancy.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to that now.
Okay.
And tell us about the guy.
Yeah,
What's
come
his
on.
name?
Why don't you tell us? We're just gonna bug you till you do.
No,
it's
tell
too
us.
soon. It's too soon.
Come on. Tell us.
You big baby. All right. Her name is Marla. I'm seeing a woman.
No, you aren't. I'm serious. I'm gay.
You're just screwing with us, right?
No.
So what do you think? Well, it's really surprising. I mean, when did this happen?
Wait a minute. You and I used to go out looking for guys all the time. We went to all those singles dances together.
Singles dances? I thought we were dating. Joke, just kidding. What's for lunch? And who's gay?
Loose meat and none of your business.
Oh, I probably already know anyway. It's Dr. Summers, your gynecologist.
My gynecologist!
Hey, she's still your gynecologist. She just happens to be a lesbian.
Chill, I was just messing with your head. So who is it?
No.
Roseanne, come on. She's going to find out about it somehow. Wouldn't you rather it came from her mother with a little explanation?
No, not really. I hate this. All right, well, before I tell you, let me ask you a question. Do you ever watch Sally Jesse?
Mom, I pretty much already know about lesbians, and what I don't, you'd be too embarrassed to tell me.
Yeah, right. Well, it's Nancy.
Whoa. How'd you find out? Did she tell you?
No, we saw the I'm a big old dyke bumper sticker on her car.
Okay, that was great.
Wasn't it great?
Yeah.
That was part of our clips from the Media Awards last year. She got a Media Awards. And of course this year she's been in the
The
headlines
94 season, right.
because, you know, of the famous Kiss, which came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, Mario Hemingway.
Yeah, and the press was all over that.
Right, yes. And there's other awards not only in, you know, different categories of comedy, but in the news reporting. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, news is perhaps where we get most coverage. Unfortunately, the entertainment industry has fallen, I think, a little behind in terms of gay representations that are fair and accurate and inclusive. But the news has for years been doing this very well. And, you know, we have brought another clip from ABC News where, you know, when someone like Peter Jennings, just sort of with his straight face, says, you know, gays and homosexuals, you know, it really makes an impact on people who are watching the news. You know, it's no longer you know, fag or, you know, whatever the right is always saying about us. So, you know, we especially try to recognize good print and broadcast news.
Right. Okay, so we'll go to that clip now. This was one of the submissions for
Yes,
the...
this is one of the nominees.
For the Media Awards.
Yes.
Okay, let's see that.
Let's see.
Finally from us this evening, athletes and homosexuality. Because they are so often the victims of prejudice, many gays and lesbians find it enormously difficult to acknowledge their sexual orientation publicly, or come out as the phrase goes. For athletes, the difficulty is compounded by the popular image of the sports hero. ABC's Dick Schaap reports tonight on one Olympic medalist who decided he had to challenge the image.
With an incredible comeback.
Hayes' joy was obvious. His agony was not. Bruce Hayes was a gold medalist and privately gay.
I heard the jokes every day, and I heard the gay bashing that went on, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to confide in somebody that I'm gay.
2 years ago, at the Gay Games in Vancouver, Hayes swam back into the spotlight. He won 7 gold medals. Suddenly, he was out, openly gay.
Somebody that I came out to once said, oh, you can't be gay, you won a gold medal. And that, it just enraged me, because that's the sort of stereotype that I think gays and lesbians are fighting against.
Okay. The representations of gay and lesbians in the media is, you know, well shown by that clip. That actually was the start of GLAAD, wasn't it?
Right. GLAAD began in 1985 in response to the AIDS crisis. There were headlines in the New York Post, some of which...
horrible headlines.
They were terrible. Gay AIDS den, AIDS time bomb, AIDS the typhoid Mary factor, AIDS victim faces assault rap for spitting. So in response to that, a small group of New York-based journalists got together and they had a meeting, and many of the people who appeared at that meeting were the founders of GLAAD.
Right.
And since then, they've been a positive image for monitoring the media.
Right. And your organization is now in different cities as well as New York,
spread
right?
out.
Los
Yes.
Angeles.
Los Angeles, San Francisco.
San Diego, Atlanta. We have 7 to 10 local chapters. I don't know.
Right.
Kansas City.
Off the top of my
D.C.,
head. Yeah.
Dallas.
Right. And
All
the New
have
York
branches.
branch is by far the largest, I would
Local
guess.
chapters, right.
Right.
New York is the largest chapter.
Of course, and we're the media center for the whole
Right.
country.
Right.
There was another interesting project that you undertook, which was the visibility campaign. Chiqui,
Right.
can you tell us about that?
Sure. I mean, one of the things that marked a term for us as an organization last year was the fact that we started realizing that we needed to be more than just reactive to negative images, and that we decided to take a proactive step and create our own images, because far too often we get caught in this, well, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, and we decided to say, well, instead of criticizing people for doing things wrong, let's show them how we want to be portrayed. So we did a subway campaign, which was very, very effective. We got a lot of great press in it, and
when did that
highlighted
run?
6 different people. It was up in the subways throughout the month of June.
Right, get something like 3 million viewers
Right.
in the subways.
Every other subway in Manhattan, and it was really just quite effective. The New York Times ran an article about it.
It was very well done.
All the TV stations did stuff. And what we did was we picked people from the community that we felt were representative, and you just highlighted them, had a picture of them with a little quote about how they felt, you know, about being a lesbian or a gay man.
Right, that's really wonderful. So you're trying to create positive images in many other ways. One of the things you do in your education of the media is to actually publish a media book. Is
media
that
guide.
right? A media guide. And that is, if I was a broadcast journalist or a print journalist, I could look at that guide and try and...
Well, it's meant to help understand. Far too often media professionals don't know where to ask questions, you know, don't know where to confirm facts about the gay community. So a lot of their misrepresentations are based on ignorance. And the media guide gives them a quick overview of who we are as a community, and what we want. It also gives them a style guide of what's the correct usage. You know, you don't say sexual preference, you say sexual orientation. You don't use words like choice, you know. And it helps them understand a little bit more the nomenclature that surrounds our community.
Right, right. I think what was so neat with the visibility campaign was how energies were put together to produce it too. And that sort of could be used as an example of how GLAAD works, right? Because you got volunteer talent to produce the subway spots.
Done all volunteer.
All volunteers. Different groups came together. There were advertisers, there were promoters, there were people that were in the community that just came together to volunteer their time. And just like Speakers Bureau, the organization that I volunteer on, there are professionals in the community that come and volunteer their time for the well-being of the organization and to help promote the positive images of the gay and lesbian community.
Right. What are some of the projects that GLAAD is undertaking now?
Well, every year the board of director meets and decides what's the most important areas that they want to work on. And in 1994, of course, Stonewall is one of the big projects that we're undertaking.
Right.
You'll see that GLAAD is going to produce, I think, 1,000 or 2,000 media kits for all the media professionals that are going to converge in New York City in June and try to get positive sort of historical pieces in the media before June.
Right.
So that when people think about Stonewall, they realize that this is a commemorative, you know, event, and, you know, what happened at the beginning of Stonewall, and, you know, where we are and where we're going. So Stonewall is the first one. The second one is the Gay Civil Rights Bill, which in New York State is going to be on the bill again. Is it New York City or New York State?
New York State, yeah, the Empire Pride Agenda, yeah. Because the city already has its own version, you know, from
domestic partnership.
Right.
And then lastly, but of course not least at all, is the threat of the right, you know, to try to fight the special rights,
the religious right
campaign that is against us now.
Well, because they're so very well organized in that sector that to come back at them with you know, cohesive, concerted effort is very worthwhile.
Right, and I think all major gay organizations are really trying to see how we can work together to fight the right, because it's really a big threat.
It's a collaborative effort.
Right. And I think that the Stonewall 25, an actual ad hoc organization has been created around that anniversary, hasn't it? Or
well, Stonewall always was an organization that I think existed. They certainly did Stonewall 20, and then I think it's grown since then to Stonewall 25. This is like an international, it certainly has incorporated, you know, different Stonewall organizations that I think have incorporated into that. But
so, and then the talent and specialties of the GLAAD volunteers are around the media issues that surround such an effort. Is that right? You sort of really come forward and target.
Right. We're going to be monitoring 50 different outlets. So we're actually actively recruiting right now our volunteers to help us, you know, monitor either radio, television, print, so that what we want to do at the end of June and July is publish a report card about how the media did covering Stonewall.
Right, okay, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And when it comes to a state effort, which is actually a political effort to get a gay rights bill passed, are you then again involved at the media level or working?
Oh yeah, that's all GLAAD does. We're not a policy organization at all. We just fight for, you know, representations in the media. And what we are doing is we're actually working in collaboration with some other gay organizations, pooling our money together to make a sort of subway campaign image idea thing to have, because one of the things that made us lose last time around on this issue was the fact that the public image really wasn't behind. Well, you know, people didn't understand what a gay civil rights bill meant. So.
I think it was killed in committee, which shows that there was no pressure at all to deal with the issue. That a few Republicans within a certain committee could just, you know, table it. Was really showed that the push wasn't there from the outside to have some action.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
But it's going to be a positive campaign.
Yeah, great. How about the whole national scene? Does GLAAD, do you have any opinions about how our Clinton administration is, you know, coming forward for gay rights? Any opinions about that, Barry?
Well, from a personal perspective, more so than from a GLAAD
that's great.
perspective.
Yeah.
Because GLAAD's position is not to really take a position one way or the other.
Politically.
It's politically.
Right.
But from a personal point of view, I have my problems, obviously, with his vacillating on the issue of gays in the military. But on the other hand, I understand why he had to do it, because I do feel from a personal level that if he didn't do what he did, that he would not have gotten at least what he has now. And something is better than nothing. But on the other hand, there are many people who are totally opposed to that he should have gone straight forward.
Well, you have to, realize also where we're coming from.
Exactly.
George Bush didn't say the word AIDS for 8 years.
Right.
So, just the fact that Clinton has been supportive of including gay men and lesbians, openly talking about some of the issues that concern our community, that's a quantum leap compared to Bush.
For the first time during the campaign, one of the issues dealt with the gay community. And for 12 years prior to that time, there was no discussion of gay issues, or particularly the word AIDS.
Right. So he put us a little bit on the map there, at least in the public light.
They got a focus for discussion. What about GLAAD as an organization? You're always like membership. Thinking, can you talk a little bit about that and how a person like myself or one of our viewers might get involved in GLAAD?
Well, I think GLAAD is the premier organization to join. Why wouldn't I say that? No, it's true. Everybody watches television, everybody reads the paper, Everybody who is gay is conscious of our portrayals in the media. So it doesn't matter whether you're in or out or how far you want to go in that spectrum, GLAAD always has a place for anybody. We need people to help in and around the office. We need volunteers who take pictures for subway campaigns. We need volunteers to do TV shows like we're doing right now. We need people like you to come out, and help us. He's a lawyer. They help us in different perspectives, So I think GLAAD there's a space for everybody at GLAAD. So if you want to join, you should call 1-212-807-1700.
Okay,
That's the general telephone number at GLAAD.
Right.
And there's also a hotline number where you can call to report things.
Oh, great. So if we found something in our local papers or heard something on a local radio station,
call us.
Absolutely. So that some action could be taken, or it could be noted or otherwise dealt with. Yeah.
But people out here are very supportive of GLAAD, aren't they?
Right. Yes, we are. Absolutely. You're at the Community Services Center in West 13th Street?
Every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, we have an orientation, and we invite you all to come. It's at 8 o'clock at the Gay and Lesbian Community Service Center in Manhattan. And you're welcome to come and hear a little bit more about what we do and join one of our committees.
I'm sure everyone has an interest in it. Media is so important in our popular culture.
Oh, yeah.
That it's really
is
something to go. I want to thank you both for being here. It's
Thank
been
you.
great to
Thank you
hear
for
about
having me.
GLAAD. And I hope that the show has gotten some interest from our viewers.
Yes.
And we're all media watchdogs, I guess.
That's right.
Just
We have
because
to
we
be.
have to be, yeah. If you have an interest in joining GLAAD, you're invited to attend their monthly orientations. Call them at 212-807-1700 for more information. Thanks for watching Forward and Out. Let us know you're watching. Send your comments to Forward and Out, care of the Loft, P.O. Box 1513, White Plains, New York 10602, or call the Loft's helpline at 914-948-4922. Stay tuned for the Loft's Community Bulletin Board directly following the end credits of the show. Thanks, and until next time, be proud.